Best pace is suicide pace, and today is a good day to die. This is a quote from the great runner Steve Prefontaine, an American runner in the 1970s. Nearly 41 years after his death, many still look up to Pre. He was a great example of what hard work, determination, and pure guts looks like. As a runner, Steve Prefontaine is someone who I look up to. His style of running has greatly influenced mine. I look at what he accomplished and want to achieve greatness like he did. Today, we will discuss Steve Prefontaine's early life, where he grew up and how he became to be a runner, his collegiate and Olympic career, and as well as the impact he made on the sport of running. Let's look at the early years of Prefontaine's life. Steve was born in Coos Bay, Oregon on January 25, 1951, to Ray and Elfie Prefontaine. He was the middle child with two sisters, Netta, who was the oldest, and Linda, who was the youngest. As a child, he was very active and wanted to be involved in sports. However, he was too small for many of the team activities. He also struggled because one of his legs was shorter than the other. In the 8th grade, he noticed that he was faster than a majority of the kids in his gym class. So, his freshman year, he began to run on the high school cross-country team. He finished 53rd in the state that year. However, for someone as competitive as him, that wasn't good enough. He wanted first place. He began to train longer and harder, hoping it would pay off. Lucky for him, it did. Not quite as much as he wanted to, though. He finished 6th in the state as a sophomore. Still determined to get first, he trained even more. Finally, he got what he wanted. A first place finish, not only at the state meet, but at every meet he ran that year. According to Legacy.com on March 10, 2016, Pre had a rough track season his junior year due to overtraining. However, he came back his senior year to break the 2-mile record of 8:48.4 with a time of 8:41.5. Times like this are what made University of Oregon coach Bill Bowerman notice him. Pre attended the university and went on to win 7 NCAA titles for the university. According to GoDucks.com, on December 18, 2003, Prefontaine won 3 of these titles in cross country during the years of 1970, 71, and 73. The other 4 titles were won on the track in the 3-mile between 1970 and 73. In the 1970 NCAA championships, he had stitches in his foot from an accident at the pool and still managed to win the race. He was the first ever track runner to win this many titles and the second cross-country runner to do so. He also set the mile record at the University of Oregon on June 5, 1970, with a time of 3:57.4. He then set 7 more records during his years at the university. Pre also went on to run in the 1972 Olympics in Munich, Germany, where he competed in the 5,000-meter race. He finished 4th after running an all-out race that ended up costing him in the last 600 meters. Shortly after the Olympics, he was unfortunately killed in a car wreck. He died on May 30th, 1975, at the early age of 24. What exactly happened has never been found out. However, according to a resident of a nearby house, there was another car that was headed straight up the hill towards him. He swerved left to avoid the car and ran straight into a 15-foot rock. His car flipped and he suffocated to death. The news shocked the community and family. The rock quickly became known as Pre's Rock. At the location, there's now a plaque that reads, "Pre, for your dedication and loyalty to your principles and beliefs, for your love, warmth, and friendship, for your family and friends. You are missed by many, and you will never be forgotten." Many runners and fans visit the rock and leave memorabilia. His sister, Linda, collects the items and keeps them in his honor. Pre left a legacy that will never be forgotten. He set the stage for running. Before him, running was very uncommon. It would have been strange to see someone running down the street in the 70s. Today, though, no one thinks twice about it. Pre did more than define running, though. He pushed for the rights of athletes that were part of the American Amateur Athletic Union. The AAU controlled every aspect of the athlete's life at the time. They got very little money and their lives were restricted. The union controlled where the athletes competed, lived, traveled, etc. Pre fought the union by covering the AAU symbol on the USA patch during the 72 Olympics and starting his own track meets and inviting other AAU members. Unfortunately, Pre was killed before he was able to see progress be made. Thanks to him, though, other athletes joined the cause and the president signed the Amateur Sports Act of 1978 on November 8, 1978, according to govtrack.us on March 10, 2016. This act placed limits on the Olympic Committee and ensured that athletes would have more freedom and say in where they competed and how they trained. Pre broke barriers. Others were afraid to break with a fiery spirit and a drive that was unmatched. He had a winning spirit and wasn't afraid to hurt. He had a confidence and occasionally a cockiness about him that drew other people in. Between the gutsy, all-out racing and the personality, Steve Prefontaine created a legacy and continues to live on. As I stated in the introduction, I'm a runner, and Pre is someone who I look up to, largely because he defined running. I hope that you now see that you don't have to be a runner to be inspired by Pre. Anyone can look at his drive and determination and be inspired to go for greatness. After all, he once said, to give anything less than the best is to sacrifice the gift.